Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are resurrecting my This or That series. Now, if you're not familiar, This or That is where I take two products, typically from the drugstore, I don't think I've done anything high-end yet, that are extremely similar from different brands, and I tell you whether you should buy this one or that one because they are usually so similar that you don't need both of them. So today we are testing out the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible Liquid Lipsticks and the Maybelline SuperStay Matte Ink Liquid Lipsticks. Now, I was really kind of nervous / excited to try these because I really wanted to find a good drugstore matte liquid lip that had a good selection of colors and also performed well, because I feel like some of them don't perform that great. So first one that I bought was the Maybelline one in Loyalist, and after I tried it I was like, this isn't bad, let me get some more. And then I ended up coming across the L'Oreal ones and I was like, okay, here we go, this or that. This is going to be perfect for this series. So let's get started on it. Before we dive into it, I will tell you that this will be the L'Oreal ones and that will be the Maybelline ones. So let's talk about the ones that I bought. L'Oreal, I got Nudist, which is the top, and Angora, which is the bottom. Both kind of nude, neutral kind of shades. And then the Maybelline, I got Pioneer, which is the red, and Loyalist, which is the more pinky nude color. Both of these are around $8 to $10 depending on where you get them from. There is a difference in size. Let's talk about that. The L'Oreal ones are 0.21 fluid ounces, and the Maybelline ones, despite the package being bigger, they actually have less product in them. This has 0.17 fluid ounces, so it is a 0.04 fluid ounce difference in them. Now, while we're on the packaging, let's look at these. Let me put one of them down. So here is the Maybelline one. It's very kind of like sleek, all one size around. And the package out here is supposed to match the color inside. And then it just says SuperStay Matte Ink here. The L'Oreal ones look like this. Looks exactly like their Infallible matte glosses and the Infallible long-lasting gloss, all of the Infallible lip line. Looks like this, and this has kind of a soft touch top on it, kind of like NARS packaging, and then a frosted tube. I will say that I feel like the color that you see out here is a little bit deceiving versus the color that you get on the inside. That is a little bit like, I don't really like that, because especially whenever you can't test it at the store, and whenever I was searching for these, I could not find any swatches online. It kind of sucked not really knowing what I was going to get. So in terms of packaging, I almost feel like it's kind of a draw, because I like that the color is pretty much true to what you get, but I feel like these are a little bit more sophisticated feeling. They feel a little bit more high-end, so I would prefer this over this one. Now, in terms of color range, the Maybelline range does have kind of a complete range of colors. You have some like neutral, nude, all the way up to the bold reds, the ultra saturated, like deep plum color, and then you have some in the middle that are kind of like rosy and pink and stuff like that. Then in the L'Oreal ones, they all seemed to me to be kind of muted colors. There were one or two really deep shades, but they weren't like particularly bold. They were more just like deep, muted, kind of dusty colors. That's what this whole line seemed like, was very dusty colors. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just that I think that you get two different kinds of color ranges with. Okay, let me talk about applicators real quick, and then I will also give you some swatches for each of them. And then toward the end of this, I will also give a little collage that has lip swatches, hand swatches, applicators, and all of that up close so that you can really see it. But for right now, let me just show you these, because there is a very distinct difference in the applicators, and I think that it does make a difference in how they apply as well. So here is the Maybelline one. You can see that it is a little bit tapered and it's kind of like a doe foot, but it's a little bit squished and it has a divot in the center that is supposed to allow it to pick up more product. But really, if you look at it, I don't really feel like it pulls out a whole bunch of extra product out of it. Here's the L'Oreal one. It's a little bit more spade shaped, a little bit fatter at the bottom than the Maybelline one. And it actually has a hole that goes directly through rather than just a divot. So I feel like this one does allow a little bit more product to come out on the wand. And then here are them where you can see them side by side. And I want to also show you how they apply on skin. So see how flexible that is? This one applies to the lips a lot easier. It seems to follow the natural contours of your lip a lot better than the Maybelline one. The Maybelline one is very stiff. There's not a lot of give with that, with the tip of it, you know, whereas the L'Oreal one really just folds in on itself quite easily. So let me go ahead and give you a couple swatches. This is Maybelline Loyalist, L'Oreal Angora, put that one over here, L'Oreal Nudist, and then Maybelline Pioneer. So there are the four that I got. We've got kind of a taupey, purpley, gray based color, kind of a terracotta color, a true red, and then just a nudie pink. Okay, now when talking about the formula, I want to say right off the bat that this is a formula that I feel like you're either going to love it or hate it. There is no in between here. Whenever I first tried this, I hated it. And the reason is because whenever I first put it on, the first one that I tried was the Maybelline Loyalist one. It is a very sticky matte liquid lip. Don't get me wrong, it does dry down. However, whenever you put your lips together, it does give you that like peeling apart effect if you press them together. Now, I don't get transfer from top lip to bottom lip or anything like that. The product stays where you put it, but it feels tacky. So I was not a huge fan of that. I hated it with the Anastasia Dusty Rose that I tried a couple years ago. And whenever I tried this one, I was like, oh, God, you gotta be kidding me. I really was like not having it, but I loved the color of it. So I kept it on all day and I really just learned to kind of ignore it. And now that I have tried these out for, you know, several weeks in different situations and stuff, I feel like I'm kind of over it. Like it's not a big deal to me anymore. But if that kind of formula bugs you, you may not like these. I have two different ones mixed right now that I will show you how it does. You can see how it sticks together right there, but no transfer or anything. Still looks good. I'm wearing Angora all over, and then I put a bit of Loyalist in the center and just kind of like that, just to lighten it up a little bit. Now, because of the applicators, whenever I put these on, the Maybelline ones, straight up, they just go on streaky. There's really no getting around it. You really have to finesse it. You have to put it on, then you have to go back in, dipping several times to really get an even coverage all over. And Pioneer was really, really bad about streaking. And even after kind of trying to perfect it, I felt like it really didn't get to full opacity. There was still parts where it was a little bit patchy. So that was not too great. On the other hand, the L'Oreal ones went on so smooth, so creamy, and it was just full opacity with one swipe. And with those, I only had to dip twice, once for the lower lip, once for the top lip. The Maybelline ones, I would have to dip 4, 5, 6 times sometimes to get it fully how I wanted it to look. I will say though that I think that the formulas of these are almost identical. They perform in much the same way. They both feel tacky even after it's dried down. And what's interesting also is that while they are called a matte lip, I feel like even after they dry down, especially with the L'Oreal ones, they have just a hint more. It almost looks like a lacquer on your lips. It's not high gloss, but if you look up close at your lips, there's definite like sheen there. I wouldn't necessarily call it a shine, but there's a sheen to it. It is not a dry, powdery, matte look. But I kind of liked that. I think that because the formula is the way that it doesn't make your lips feel like they're dried out and dead at the end of the day. Whenever I take it off, it does feel like they're hydrated, like they're normal lips, not dried out at all. Now, in terms of wear time though, there is another distinction between them. The L'Oreal ones wear off much more gracefully, and it takes a little bit more effort to get them to wear off. I ate pasta and pizza and sandwiches and drank from straws and bottles and cups and everything. And in every single test, the Maybelline ones always had much higher degree of flaking off in the center of my lips than the L'Oreal ones did. Don't get me wrong, the L'Oreal ones still did flake off, but not to the extent of the Maybelline ones. But with that being said, even the Maybelline ones weren't like crazy flaky or anything. Just a higher degree of flakage than the L'Oreal. The other big problem that I encountered with the Maybelline ones is that once you put them on, it's dried down, you're going about your day. About 2 to 3 hours in, it starts bunching up on the underside of your lip, near like your lips waterline, you know, right here, especially on the top lip, and it almost looks like little like bulges of product. And I think I have a picture of Pioneer doing it, and it's just very unattractive. I'm sure nobody would notice it if you're just like speaking distance, but if somebody's up close to you talking, you're going to be able to see it, and it was not exactly my cup of tea. So I wasn't a fan of that. I did not experience that issue with the L'Oreal ones though. They just wore so much more beautifully than the Maybelline ones did. The winner of this episode of This or That is this. The L'Oreal ones. I just favor these so much more over the Maybelline ones. Every issue that I had with the Maybelline ones did not occur with the L'Oreal ones. And I just felt like throughout the day's wear, I didn't notice these on my lips as much. And the main reason for that is that bulging underneath the lip where it's bunching up and stuff. It just makes it so much more noticeable. So don't go for these. Pass on them. They're subpar in my opinion. The L'Oreal ones are just that much better. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think that L'Oreal has won the past few This or That's, because I have compared a lot of L'Oreal versus Maybelline products. So I hope that this review helped you. I hope that you guys like this series. I'm going to try doing it more often. I know there are several things at the drugstore now that are kind of similar to each other that I can probably do. I just want to make sure that I find things though that I want to actually try, as opposed to wasting my money on something I know I won't use. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you got some good information to help you avoid spending your money on both of these things whenever you really should just spend it on the L'Oreal ones. So that is it, guys. I will catch you next time. Bye!